All right, this is day 7 of Unit 8. So we started today with a ticket. You'll need to make that up if you missed class today. And then we did this warm-up. So pause the video, try the warm-up, and then play to check your answers. So the first one, number 1A, so I can see that this is geometric and infinite. So remember, when it's geometric and infinite, you need to check the R value and compare it to 1. Well, the absolute value of the R value. So we can see by looking here that the R value is 1/2. So the absolute value of 1/2 is 1/2. And 1/2 is less than 1, which means when that happens, when it's less than 1, we know that the series converges to a sum. So it converges to the sum of a sub 1 over 1 minus r. So a sub 1, I have to figure that out. 1 minus r is 1 minus 1/2. Now remember, we can't just assume that the first term is the first number that's listed there. So we have to find the first term. So substituting in 1 for n gives us 6 times 1/2 to the first. 6 times 1/2 to the first means 6 times 1/2, and 6 times 1/2 is 3. So the first term is 3. So it's 3 over 1 minus 1/2, which means it's 3 over 1/2, and 3 over 1/2 is 3 times 2, which is 6. The sum of this series is 6. Letter B, I can see this is arithmetic and infinite. Well, we talked about the fact that arithmetic infinite series are always divergent. They diverge. Because they diverge, that means no sum exists. So all you have to tell me is that it's arithmetic and infinite, which means series diverges and no sum exists. That's it. Okay, so we just had one example today, so you want to put this in your notes. So it says that this is an infinite geometric series. So it's similar to the first problem we did a moment ago in the warm-up. It's infinite and geometric, and I'm given the first term and I'm given the sum. Well, if I'm given the sum, think about what that means in terms of the R value. Because there is a sum exists, that means that the absolute value of the R value has to be less than 1. So I'm going to solve for the R, and I should expect a number whose absolute value is less than 1. And if I don't get something that has an absolute value less than 1, I know I did something wrong. So because there is a sum, I know the formula is S is equal to A sub 1 over 1 minus R. So I'm going to substitute in what I know. I know the S. I know A sub 1. I don't know the R. So I'm going to either put the 2 over 1 and cross multiply my proportion, or just multiply both sides by 1 minus r, the quantity. So that gets rid of my 1 minus r, leaves me with 1, and I'm just going to distribute this 2 times the quantity 1 minus r to get 2 minus 2r. Subtracting 2 from both sides gives me -1 equals -2r. Dividing both sides by -2 gives me r is equal to 1/2. So that is the R value, which is what the question asked for. And that makes sense, right? Because the absolute value of 1/2 is 1/2, and 1/2 is less than 1, which means that this series would converge to a sum. And that's what we got. It converges to a sum. So that's it. Okay, so the rest of the time today was time to work, practice, get ready for Friday's test. So I had students work on 13 to 18 pages, just the odds. And you may skip, when you get to page 14, you may skip those 2 problems, but otherwise all of the other odds. So work on those, and coming up on Friday is your test, which means your packet's due.